talk about breaking down those down payment myths that people have about why they can't buy a home and what they have to put down. This is going to be a time where I'm going to try to break those down and help people be able to understand what it means and what it is to be able to buy a home and not go through those myths that people think they have to have in order to buy a home. So one of the things that I hear a lot from people is the reason why they haven't bought a home is because they can't save for a down payment. And a lot of people are like, I need 20% down in order for me to buy a home. And I would say that's not necessarily true. You don't need 20%. A lot of people that I represented haven't put down 20%. Some people have been lucky to put down 0% and do 100% financing. And some people have put down as low as 3% or 3.5%. And when I say percentage and what are you putting down, that basically means of the sales price. So a lot of people are like, I need to put down 20% because such and such told me, or I need to be able to put down 5% or something like that. But my first thing is think of 5% of what? 20% of what? And you don't know what that what is. You don't know how much you need to save, and you can end up saving $10,000 and it may still not be enough depending on the price of the home that you are looking to do. So let's break down these down payment myths again, and let's just talk. So one of the things that people think, besides just having to have 20%, they think of that's the only way I can do my down payment, and that's so not true. Other options for down payment and being able to have the money for your down payment that people do not look into are grant programs. And I get a lot of calls every day, and it's more so, what are the first time home buyer programs? And I'm just like, there aren't any first time home buyer programs. They're just consistency. There are grant programs, meaning those grant programs are for anyone out there who meets the qualifications. And usually with grant programs, they don't need to be repaid back, but they have income restrictions, and they have income restrictions based on your household size. So those are the two things that you can do when it comes to just down payment. You can always get a grant. And some of the grants do have income limits, like I said, and they also have purchase limits. So depending on where you're buying, you are regulated to how much you can buy using a down payment assistance program, and how much income you make determines that as well. So yes, thank you, Natalie. Grant programs are great for first-time buyers. That is so true. So a lot of people don't think about that, and that's a great way to get into the market, is to do those grant programs. And I always say, if you're going to do those grant programs, do know, although they're really great, there's no such thing as free money. So you also have, when you go those grant program routes, you do have a higher interest rate, but you can always refinance later to get the normal rate and have a lower rate, but that gets you through the door. So don't leave out that option thinking, oh, I have to save for this, because there are grant programs out there. Okay, I see another question. Can you just Google grant program? So this is what happens. You have to still get in touch with your lender in order to be able to do a program for that. So basically, your lenders do the grant programs. I think most things that people forget and want to know how to do that is mainly seeing what your lender, do you qualify for it. Like, for instance, in the state of Texas, the thing about that is they have one state program called the Texas State Affordable Housing Corporation. And with that, you have to have a 620 credit score. So that's the next thing about a lot of these down payment assistance programs, is that you have to have a credit score, at least a minimum of 620. And so the Texas State Affordable Housing Corporation, we call that TSHAC in the real estate business. That's the name. It's called TSHAC. So the initials are TSAHC. So I know it really doesn't spell shack, but that's what they call it. You have to have a minimum score of 620 to order to be able to get a down payment. The highest they give is 5% down. The lowest is 3%. So most people, you can use that for your down payment, and you may have a little bit left over to cover your closing costs. Probably not a lot, but that helps a lot of buyers be able to get in and have some of their closing costs paid and all of their down payment paid. So you have a little bit leg room when you're going through that route. The next route is another program that's offered by the state of Texas, and it's called from the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. And it's not a grant program. It's more like a second lien to your home, but it works the same way as TSHAC does. So they still give you 5%, and you're able to buy your home and use that as your down payment. Now, the thing with that program is it's a second lien on your home, meaning whenever you sell, you have to pay that one back. But the great thing about it is most people have equity in their home, so that automatically pays a second lien out, and it's not money physically coming from your pocket. And you are not charged interest on that second lien through TDHCA. So You asked about where can you find information about it. You have two options. You can go Google up TDHCA information about grant programs in Texas, or just go grant programs in Texas for home buying, and both of those programs should come up. There's another program too called the Stealth program, and I'd have to have a lender explain that one more in detail, because that's more of where lenders go in and do that information, but they're all the same. And something else that Natalie has pointed out, she's like, homes are sitting longer. And that's something that people do not understand, that when homes sit longer, and I always tell people, if the home's been on the market more than 2 weeks, we most likely can get that price down. And that's what's happening in the market now. It's becoming a normal market. And I'm going to do a Tuesday tip in a few weeks talking about that, so you guys can have more information about how to compete and why. If you've been looking to buy, this is a perfect time to buy. Competition is low. Homes have been staying on the market a little longer, and you can get closing costs paid, as Natalie said. You can ask the seller for closing costs. And the seller who really wants to sell their home may be open to the closing costs. Now, if you wait to the summer market and you're still trying to ask the closing costs, you ain't gonna get it, because everybody and their mama's out looking for a house. You ain't gonna get it in the summer, but you have more wiggle room in the fall and winter. So do note that. The next option when it comes to down payment would be something that people do not think to tap into, but it's a really great option for a lot of people, is their 401k. And I am not your HR person, so I can't tell you the full details of it, but I have had clients use their 401k to purchase a home. And mainly when I tell people, when you look into that, it's basically you taking money from one investment and putting into another bucket of your investment. So it's still all your money, it's just going into a whole different direction. So when you're thinking of, okay, where do I get the money from? That's another bucket that you can definitely check out when you're looking for your down payment. Something else that people don't know about down payment is that if you have parents who really love you and think you're the best thing in the world and they would do anything for their child, go hit them up for your down payment. And I'm not even talking about all of your down payment. Like, if they're willing to offer you maybe $2,000, $3,000, that can definitely be part of your down payment. So yes, gifts. That's what it is. You can get a gift fund from your parents, someone of like a family member, basically parents or grandparents. I've had clients whose parents have paid their whole down payment. I mean, that's really nice. My mama's not trying to give $5, so that's just even better that you have parents who's like, I will pay your down payment. So that's another thing that you can do when it comes to just getting your down payment. There's not a one-way stop or one-way option where you have to save consistently to be able to get your down payment, which is great. That's a great thing. And I tell people, don't come into it thinking you're not going to spend any money, because you are going to spend money, but the down payment and what you're out of pocket of is one thing that stumbles a lot of people from being able to go to the next step, because they're used to someone who probably bought a house 20 years ago saying you have to put 20% down. And remember, if you don't know how much you can afford, you don't know how much that is to put down. So I would tell people, for wiggle room, if you're starting, try to put yourself in the goal mindset of, okay, let me try to at least save $5,000. And if you can save 5, try to at least save 10. You know, and just try to get yourself there. But do know that you don't necessarily need as much as you think you need in order to buy a home. So don't stumble yourself or limit yourself because you feel like that's what you need in order to get in a home. There are plenty of programs. The state of Texas has plenty of programs in order to get you a home. Another program that I just realized I didn't talk about are local programs. Now, I don't talk about the local ones a lot because the local one is really for that low to moderate income borrower. And that's really based on what your income is. And it's a little bit lower than what the state program is. So that makes the situation where it's like the income's a little bit less than what you're thinking that it should be. Meaning, like, for one person, I think it's like $40,000. So if it's just you and you're making over $40,000, you're not getting the local programs. And out here in the Metroplex, cities that have local down payment assistance programs are the city of Dallas, the city of Plano. Frisco has it, but it's only for like teachers in Frisco and like city workers in Frisco. So if you're not one of those, you can't use the Frisco one. Denton has it. Louisville has one. I'm not sure if Carrollton brought theirs back, but I know those cities off the top of my head has one. Arlington has one. Fort Worth has one. And if you were looking to buy in Dallas County, they also have a down payment assistance program too. Difference with those programs is once they run out of money, they run out of money into the next fiscal year. The great thing is, for these cities, the next fiscal year starts next month. So if you're looking to buy any one of those areas and you know based on income you might qualify as a low to moderate income borrower, then you can definitely probably tap into some of those city funds. You do have to sit with any of these down payment assistance programs. You do have to do a home buyer education class so that you know the whole thing about borrowing and buying and paying it back. You have to sit through those, but for some of them you can do online. Some of them is an all-day thing for 8 hours, but for you to take away somebody's money, almost $10,000 possibly, to sit down for 8 hours is not bad. You know, so to sit for 8 hours and approximately get what, $8,000 to $10,000, you can do it all day. That's an extra $1,000 you earn on every hour. So that's something that you could definitely chime into and look into if that's the thing for you. If down payment out-of-pocket costs is what bothers you the most, do know there are options. Do not stop your home ownership journey because you're like, I don't have the down payment system money. If you have the credit score, we can work on getting your credit down to where you qualify for debt to income ratio purposes. But we can find money because there's money out there to use in order for you to be able to purchase a home. So don't ever sit around and think, oh, I can't do it, because you can. You know, I use this saying with people, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but you don't know because you didn't ask. So this is just me bringing out that Tuesday tip to letting people know there are down payment myths. You don't need 20% down. You don't need to have 800 credit score. A lot of people are getting into the game and they have like a 600 credit score and they're buying houses. If you are looking to do an FHA loan, which is basically one of those insured loans by the government, and you put down 3.5%, and that's the minimum you have to put down, some lenders can go as low as 580 on those loans. And when I say credit score, it's a middle credit score, meaning they throw out the highest score, they throw out the lowest score, and that middle score is what they use. And it's based on a FICO score. So if you come and you're like, I know I have a 750 because Credit Karma said I have a 750, I'm going to look at you and say, no, that is not correct. And I say that because Credit Karma is a venture score and lenders look at a FICO score. So if you're looking to see what your FICO score is, then you need to head to myfico.com and sign up to get a FICO score and see if you can get all three. Of course, you have to pay for it. Sorry, everything in life isn't free. This information is free though. So go to myfico.com and you'll be able to sign up and see what your FICO score is. Therefore, you can see, okay, if I have a 620, I know I can get these grants and not have to pay those back. And that's the same with any of those city programs. They're all grants. And what happens in, like, I know City of Dallas for sure because I worked at a nonprofit and we used to get people in homes using those City of Dallas grants, is that every year that you stay in the home, depending on how much money that you borrow, is forgiven every year. So if you choose to buy a new home or a home through what's called a Community Development Corporation in Dallas, they give up to $20,000. And you have to stay in the home at least 10 years, but that's kind of the average of where people are staying at homes anyway in order to not pay that back. So always look and see what your options are when it comes to your down payment, because a lot of people stumble about that out-of-pocket cost, and for some situations it's not really that expensive. And something else that I will put onto you when we talk about down payment, it really just depends on the loan program that you're going into to determine how much you have to put down, because there are certain loan programs that don't require anything down. Like if you can qualify for a USDA loan, that is like one of the best loans for people who are not in the military. That's 100% financing, and you use USDA loans in rural areas. So that's 100% financing, meaning you don't put anything down. So whatever you have can potentially go to your closing costs, and therefore if the seller is not paying your closing costs, you can cover that. But the way the market is going now, you can most likely get the seller to cover some of your closing costs, and then therefore you really only invested maybe deposit on the house. You can't beat that. And a lot of people look at it and they ask me, what is a USDA loan? And I say, it's a rural loan, meaning you're staying in a rural area. And some people get nervous and they get scared. Oh my gosh, nobody's trying to live out in the country. But if you've been in DFW, you know a lot of places that are really country won't be country for long. Areas like Little Elm and Prosper can have a USDA loan. So you can buy a home in those areas using USDA loan. Salina's one of the new up-and-coming cities out in the Metroplex that you can use a USDA loan in. And also, if you go a little bit south, you have Red Oak, you have Glen Heights, Waxahachie, and Waxahachie's on the come up. Do not sleep on Waxahachie. I slept on it early in the year, sold a house out there, and I was shocked. I was like, I've been sleeping on this. Now I don't plan to drive out there too much more, but I was sleeping on it. So if you're in that southern suburbs and you're looking for places to go, look into Waxahachie. Do not sleep on it. I would say that if you're looking in the northern suburbs, don't sleep on Aubrey, don't sleep on Salina, and don't sleep on Prosper. You're gonna be hitting me up in 10 years talking about I slept on that and I could have been making a lot of money. That's another topic in Tuesday Tip 2, because we're going to talk about how to build your wealth through home ownership. I know a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm not ready yet. It's just a stepping stone, you guys. Like, home ownership can really build your wealth. And I'm going to share, I know she probably doesn't want to get on camera, but I'm going to share one of my clients' story here about them buying. And I tell everybody, you never buy what you think you're going to buy. She's one of these examples. But just tell them, if you can, join, come on in. Okay. This is Dee, you guys. So Dee's here with me, helping me with this video. So Dee.
Hi guys.
Tell them about like your process and down payment.
So we pretty much saved for our down payment, and we decided, okay, we're going to move out of an apartment. We're going to rough it at our parents' house. We are going to list things on OfferUp to get this money together, and we did. And we knew we wanted to, well, not at first. I take that back. We thought we wanted pre-owned, but she showed us the errors of our ways and showed us the light of new construction, which worked out great because that helped us save the money that we needed for the home buying process. It was a lot more affordable than buying pre-owned, because a lot of the costs that we would have incurred by buying pre-owned, we didn't have to pay. And in fact, by the time we closed, we actually got a check back for money. So for us, it was the most affordable thing for us to do in the short term from out-of-pocket expenses, but also in the long term because it's a new home.
Thank you, Dee.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that. So that's another option that a lot of people do not look into. And I'm sorry, you guys, I keep patting my face. It's a little shiny. That's bothering my nerves. But that's another thing when it comes to down payment. There's plenty of options out there. Whether you're doing like Dee, that's another thing that I didn't talk about. I don't know if you guys have ever checked out my blog on AndreaTakesOnDallas.com, but I have like 9 ways to save to fund a down payment. And it's not always saving. In fact, saving is at the bottom. You know, it's more check out those down payment assistance programs that's out there in your town or anything of that nature. I talk about selling things. People don't think you can sell some stuff. I'm quite sure you guys got some clothes in your closet that you can go to Uptown Cheesecake and start selling.
We sold a lot of our old furniture that we knew we didn't want to move over, appliances, TVs. By the time we sold everything, had a garage sale, we made $3,000.
$3,000.
$3,000. Let me tell you, you got something in there that somebody wants.
What? So I thought you was about to say
$300. $3,000.
Okay, so OfferUp, anything of that nature.
Uber, Lyft.
All those different places. I've had clients work a second job just so they can have extra money, be able to save and things. And I say that too because when people think of buying, they only think down payment and maybe closing costs. And the thing is, when you're buying, there's more than just those 2 things that you may have to put into money on. You have to purchase a home inspection. Because I'm not going to let you buy a house without a home inspection. You know, even if you do pre-owned, even new construction, I'm going to highly recommend new construction. Oh, not new construction, home inspection. I'm sorry about that. And then you also have to pay the appraisal. So those are other costs that you have into home buying. And some people just get stuck on the down payment part. The down payment is great. If you have, I always tell people, if you have at least a good $2,000, you might can make it ride on just about anything when it comes to home buying. Meaning you have enough to put down a deposit. And then we move forward to figure out, can you do a down payment assistance program? It may be a little bit more expensive. You refinance right after the fact. Then you get into that lower payment and it makes great for you. And you're able to stay in your home and be able to afford and enjoy life. Because we don't want you to have a payment that's super high and you can't enjoy life outside of working to be in your home. But there are a lot of different options that you can have in order to purchase a home and using the down payment. You know, there's down payment assistance grants. Selling things on OfferUp or any other app that you may need to sell things on. There's your 401k. What?
Another thing that we did is we actually realigned our budget because living in an apartment, we looked at our expenses and we found money. I would say between looking at cheaper car insurance, looking at better cell phone plans, we were able to create around $300 of money that we were just giving away to other people.
That's true.
So that was another cost savings that we were able to dig up on. So, and
I tell people that all the time. Sometimes it's just as simple as calling in to the people that you're already paying bills to and say, hey, what specials y'all have going on? You know, I've been a customer for about, 2 months, but I'm quite sure y'all got a better 2 month than you gave me 2 months ago. I do it all the time. Trust me, my cable company probably hates me because I'm calling every month. Like, what's a new deal? I know y'all have them. I'm always trying to save money.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Alex, for that. Appreciate it, girl. But yeah, so you can always save money in any type of way. Don't think it's mainly from your paycheck where you're just like, I'm gonna save money from here and just put it here in the savings account, and you save like $100 a paycheck.
Ooh, tax time's coming up. That's another jackpot for you.
Tis is true. And a lot of people don't think about buying a home during that time frame. They're like, I'm just gonna get this money, I'm not gonna do anything. And I always tell people, I won't say I have a hustler mindset, but in all honesty, I kind of do. That's just how my mind thinks when it comes to it. I like to be able to get money and be able to flip it into some type of other way, and it's not just based on, oh, it's just sitting here, because I have to see my money go in different places to grow, because I'm not a one-stop shop when it comes to things like that. So people, if you get tax refunds, get your tax refund and be able to reinvest it somewhere else. So if you get money back from the government, think about it. If you get like $5,000, put it into a house, because the house you buy that year, guess what? You can write them property taxes off at the end of the year. You can write off that mortgage interest at the end of the year, and you may get more money back the next year than you got the year before. Now, I'm not a tax accountant, so don't quote me for that. And if you don't get more money than that $5,000 you got the year before, I do not want to have any hate mail saying, Andrea, I did not get the money I had. I'm just telling you what you can do with the money you get, okay? So that's another perspective on everything too. So making sure you save money from different places. You can always work to have extra cash. I think I put that in there in one of my 9 ways to fund your down payment. It's just being able to figure out where you can find money. That should probably be your first step. Figure out where you can find money first before you figure out where you can get extra or take away from something. So you may be paying too much in car insurance. Figure out where you can find cheaper insurance. Therefore, the money you get from there can really be into your savings. So look into that objective and being able to break down those down payment bills, because you can do it. If you have a 620 credit score and let's say, I think in this market today, because you get 1-bedroom apartments cost like $1,200, which is crazy. But if you're paying $1,200 and up, think about owning a home. I know for a lot of people it may sound like, oh my gosh, you're just trying to sell, and I'm not. I always like for people to be able to find coins and build their wealth. That's like my whole thing of home ownership. Is like, this is the way to build wealth. This is the way to leave money to your children, and it's more than just your 401k. It's more than just stocks and bonds. It's just another asset that you have under your pocket. And if you ever need to sell something off and have a quick exit, that home is there. Well, I got $50,000 in this house. I can send my child to college. I can do this. I can do that. It may sell your house, but that's money you can have. Or you can go get a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit, and that's money you can have to do other things. That's why I like home ownership, and that's why I preach it so much, because a lot of people, especially us millennials, I get that when we were growing up, especially in college, so we're at the age that we know more things, the Great Recession happened. And a lot of people lost their homes, but not everybody lost their home. And it's just more about being realistic on what you can do with home ownership, especially if you have a really great buy. So, don't let the down payment and out-of-pocket costs stop you from home ownership, because there are tons of options out there. I have a lender that's going to be at my workshop next Saturday out in Aubrey. They have a 1% down grant program. I actually know 2 lenders who do a program like that. So think about it. If you buy a house that's $250,000, then 1% of that is $2,500. Now tell me you can't find $2,500. I know some women out there spend that in 2 months on getting your hair done. Just saying.
That's Starbucks. Cut that out.
I have a fast food habit. I mean, I can cut down by $50, but that's as much. But that's $50 I can save.
No shoe shopping for a little bit.
Right. And sometimes you just got to break some of those habits. And I always live by this motto. Sometimes you have to do things that you never did in order to get where you want to go. That is true. Everyone's nice is different. Yeah, those 1-bedrooms are starting at $1,200. Like if you live in the northern suburbs, I wouldn't even say northern suburbs. I think that's just about everywhere. 1-bedrooms are costing $1,200. And then, like you said, 2-bedrooms, $1,320. I know people spending about $1,500 for a 2-bedroom. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And it's like, you can most likely get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that your name is on the deed for at that price. So, you know, don't be scared about it. You say good commitment. I'll give you guys this one tip that I wasn't going to give today, but I'll do it right now. With the commitment, think about how long you stay in places. And, the minimum, I would say the minimum maybe of staying in a home, I wouldn't suggest you do this, but if you stay in a home for at least 2 years and then you decide to sell it, when you sell it, you get all the profit back, meaning that you don't really have to pay taxes on that profit, depending on how much the profit is. Now, for a single person, you can make up to $250,000 profit that you don't have to pay taxes on for your own home. So that's for the commitment people who are like, I don't want to be there that long. You know, I like to be able to get up and go. But sometimes if you look back at it, a lot of us stay in places for a long time because we hate to move. Same thing. And I tell people too, you know, you got to make sure you do a good buy too, because you don't know. What if your job changes within the year and you have to sell? If you had a great buy in a great area, it will sell. So you're not stressing over, oh, I need to make sure my house can sell. But if you have a house that has some type of character, and we got to sit around and wait for somebody who has that same character thing that you are looking for. So that makes it harder. But if you have a normal 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 2-car garage, then we can easily sell that and go from there. So that's the main thing when it comes to home ownership. You pay, Shelton, I'm sorry, this is my face. Shelton, you pay $1,700 for a 2-bedroom? No, but
that's more than my mortgage.
Yeah, so Dee just said that's more than her mortgage, and Dee bought
that's taxes, HOA, all that good stuff included in it. That's more than my mortgage.
Right. And then that's just something that you guys can reinvest into. Like, you can do so much with that. Like, as millennials, I will tell you guys one thing, and I'm gonna tell you why I like home ownership and why I'm in the process of building my own home. It's because that's the way I'm paying Sally Mae back. Actually, she got a brand new name. Her name is Navient. And that's how I plan to pay Navient back. I am not working hard every day for the next 30 years of my life talking about student loans. Not gonna do it. Can't. Bam. Not happening. Bam. My whole purpose of home ownership, and what I try to tell people when I'm working with them, is most likely I'm gonna do an area that's up and coming. And people are going to slowly trickle that way. It's not going to be too deep in up and coming where I'm just waiting for 15 years for people to come out. Up and coming. And therefore, I don't have to stay there that long and I can make a big profit. A lot of clients that I have that have sold their homes, most of them have lived there for about 10 years, walk away with 6 figures on the sale of their house. 6 figures, y'all. And only thing they did was live in the house. Live their life, raise their family. 6 figures on top of what they work to bring in every day. That's called home ownership. That's called wealth. Had a client put down 20% and still had money to play with. Literally play with, because she ain't had no student loans, so she literally played with it. But that's the option there. And a lot of people let the out-of-pocket costs in the beginning stop them from being able to go further in what you can do in your home. So there's plenty of options out there. There is plenty of money out there. The thing is really getting out there and finding what option works best for you. So don't let the down payment, I don't have enough money saved, I don't have a great credit score. When you really, really want to do something, you will find the way. I give valuable information all day, every day. I know a lot of you guys know you can hit me up in my DMs and you can ask me questions and I'll be there to answer any of them. And I'm like, okay, this is what you have to do. Yes, credit classes. Okay, we can get you into some credit classes. Dallas County Home Loan Counseling Center has credit classes every month like clockwork. So if you guys are looking to figure out how to do like a DIY on your own credit repair, because I always tell people I'm very fun. You don't have to pay for it. You just need to know how to do it, because once you learn how to do it, you'll never get in that situation ever again. We understand that life happens. That's perfectly normal, but you know how to adjust when that life happens. So that's basically what I would tell you throughout any of that. It's basically knowing what to do when it comes to credit and when you need to rebuild and preparing yourself. And sometimes too, for those who, this is next week's topic, and I'm gonna give you a tip today. If you have a credit card and you pay it faithfully, like faithfully, call that credit company and ask if you can lower your interest rate. Simple as that. Closed mouths don't get fed. They may say no. Try again tomorrow. Somebody gonna be wanting to talk to you.
You're doing that today.
Right. And so that's a tip. If you have a credit card, just ask, can they lower the rate? That can help you there. Or if they aren't able to lower the rate, ask them if they can probably increase your limit, because that makes your debt to income ratio lower, and therefore it makes how much debt that you have less, and it brings your credit score up because it shows the credit bureaus that you aren't using as much debt. That's going to be today's Tuesday tip on the credit part. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth next week. So if you guys are interested in learning more about rebuilding your credit, tune in next week because I'm going to talk a little bit more about that for next week. So before I end this one, everybody, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in, and I'm going to answer the last few questions before I end today's live Tuesday tip. So ask them now. Anything about down payment. So if you are looking to do a down payment, options, and trying to figure out what works best for you, just ask me away and I'm going to answer it. So this is the time to answer them, and I'm looking for them right now. Can I like stuff? Y'all know this is like my first time really doing live, like for real. So if I'm a little confused on what's happening, don't mind me. I'm going to get it in a second. Okay. Any questions out there? It was just something that you guys wanted to know about, down payments that you probably didn't get that you wanted to know. Yeah. Okay. Yes, you can send me a DM if you're interested and you have any other questions. Send me a DM and I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions that you feel like you want to ask me personally about your particular situation. You can definitely do that. Or you can text me too, so because I'm really quick on texting, so you can hit me up at 972-813-9788, and that is my business number. So if you have questions there that you want to maybe even call and talk to me a little bit more in depth on your questions, I'll be free to answer those as well then. Okay. And I brought back the fro. This is why the fro goes hidden so much. I don't even know what to think about it. How does the down payment process go? What are they looking for initially? So basically what happens is your down payment is just basically part of your loan process. So it really depends on what type of loan that you are going for will determine what type of down payment process you're going to have. So let's just say, for instance, you get an FHA. FHA is really great. I would say really great for first-time home buyers who may not have a lot, who doesn't have a lot of money to go through, or you're just at the tipping point when it comes to credit and debt. FHA loan is like 3.5%. So just for easy math, I'm going to use a $100,000 house, which if you find one in DFW, you better snatch it up. It ain't gonna last long. So if it's a $100,000 house, the minimum you have to put down is 3.5%. So that means $3,500 is what you're gonna have to put down as part of your down payment on a $100,000 house. So that's part of the down payment. Now what happens is, when you're buying the home, you put down what's also called a deposit, which is, we call it earnest money, which is just basically a deposit on the home. And it shows the seller that you are serious about buying the home. And within that, you put down a deposit. And if it's, I always tell people, at least a minimum of 1%. So if you're buying a $100,000 house, the earnest money is 1%, which is approximately $1,000, which is $1,000 on a $100,000 house. $1,000. Your down payment is $3,500. You have just now invested into your down payment. So when you get to closing, you just have to come into closing with the rest of your down payment, which is an extra $2,500 because you've already deposited in $1,000 for your down payment. So that's what that is. And another question was, what does FHA stand for? So FHA stands for Federal Housing Authority. Federal Housing Administration, and it is an insured government loan. So it's not even really a loan. It's just an insured product from the government. So it's a government-backed product for homeowners. So we asked, what are they looking for initially? It's just part of your buying process when it comes to what you can afford. So the lender's going to go through and they're going to see what you can afford based on your income and your debt. And then they will determine, okay, this product may be better for you. Of course, you get to have the final say. So let's say you want to do a conventional loan and the lender's like, okay, FHA may be better because the conventional you may have to put more down, or you have to do this and you have to do that and the other. So then FHA becomes a better route, 3.5% down. So next question, is it smart move to buy a house with someone if you have the credit and they have the funds? She's like, I've run into a few people suggesting that lately. That's a really great question. This is basically how it goes. Let's say and that happens for a lot of couples too. Like, it's usually couples, so people who are married. So let's say for a married couple, then I'm going to talk about it from a single person perspective. And you just have someone, you know, I wouldn't even say single, you're probably in a relationship. So we'll discuss that too. So for a married couple, I always tell people, it really just depends. Whoever has the better income has the better credit. And sometimes it's always one or the other. And I've met a married couple where one person had the better income and the other person had the better credit. So it's really best to go with the person who has the better credit. And if you're married, both people do not need to be on the loan, but both credits will be ran, and the person with the better credit has to take on the debt of the person who doesn't have the better credit. So that's why a lot of people who are married try to really be on the loan together so they can afford more, because now that person has to take on your debt too, it may limit how much you guys can really afford together. So that's something that you can do. Now, if you have the credit and the income and that person has the funds, guess what? They need to be doing gift funds. Like, that's just part of the thing you need to do, is add them on to be able to pay the down payment. And with the lender, they're going to ask for information saying, hey, this is not a loan that they took out to be able to help you. So if they know they can fund the down payment and you have the better credit and you have the better score, then that's what you should do. You should have that person maybe come in and pay down the down payment. Easy trade.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So when do I have to have my down payment money? Is it at the beginning when I sign saying I want to buy this house, or is it when in the process?
That's a good question. I don't know if you guys can hear Dee, but her question was, when does she need to have her down payment money? Is it at the beginning or is it at the end? This really depends on which route you go when it comes to home ownership. If you are looking to buy a pre-owned home and you looking to buy a pre-owned home, like right now, you need to have your down payment right now, meaning that the home is going to be, you're going to be removing in the next 30 days. You need to know you're going to have all that money within the next 30 days. So if you don't have it saved, that may be where a down payment assistance program comes in really handy. And you just know, okay, I have enough for at least a deposit, at least I can do the appraisal, and I can do an inspection. I have that much in, and I have a few dollars saved. I may have like 2 months saved, because let's not forget, in some situations, and depending on the loan you have to show savings after closing. Meaning, if you were to pay your mortgage the next day, they need to have proof that you can pay that tomorrow in your savings or somewhere in your account. So if that's the case, then you need to have some of the money right then and there if you're going to buy a pre-owned home. Or what I like, it was funny, me and Dee had this conversation the other day, and she was like, this is why I like new construction, because it's kind of like, now I don't really like how Dee said it, but it makes perfect sense, so I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Her suggestion was, the reason why she likes new construction is because it's basically like a layaway plan. Not my words, they're Dee's, but I'm using it because it may help somebody out there when it comes to it.
Facts.
So basically, it's like where you buy the product now at the price that it is, and with new construction, you have a time frame to save the money, because at that moment, you just have to go in and put down a deposit, and you already have an estimated date on when the house will be complete. So that gives you time to figure out, okay, where do I need to cut back on costs? How much do I need to save a month? Can I really go through a down payment assistance program? Where can I pay off some debt to eliminate some things and where I can make all these payments? That's the good thing about new construction, because it gives you the time to do that. And so Dee was like, it's just like layaway. You know, you put the product there and you pay on as you go to be a down payment. Don't tell no other new construction builder that, but that's all a secret. Next question. question, where is the best places to find down payment assistance programs? So early in the program, I gave out 2 suggestions. You can Google, I would say Google Texas State Affordable Housing Corporation, Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. They have grant programs. If you just search Texas grant programs for home ownership, you should be able to find them because there's so many out there. You have the SELF program, you have TSHAC, you have THCA, and you also have the local city program. So if you live in like a major city, most likely, especially in the state of Texas, most likely they have down payment assistance programs. The thing is, I like the state ones because the state ones have higher income just because it's based on the whole state and the whole area, and it's not specifically like a one city type of thing. So a lot of the state programs and down payment assistance programs, you can go as high, if your credit score is up to like $75,000, not your credit score, so your income is like $75,000, then you can get a down payment assistance program. And they even have programs for people who have incomes higher than that. So if you're like a doctor or a lawyer or something of that high income profession like that, they have programs, and different lenders have programs for people just like you.
Is it exclusive to first time home buyers?
No, down payment assistance programs are not exclusive to first time home buyers. So if you bought a house, let's say like 5 years ago, and you're not in the house anymore and it's going to be your second home, it is not exclusive to down payment first time home buyers. Next question. So my name can be on the house and not on the loan. Yes, ma'am. That's the good thing about being married. It's called, you need to be on the deed, because the deed lets you know who owns the house, not the loan. The loan lets you know who's paying it back. Andrea taught you that. I get that a lot, especially from married couples. They're like, oh no, I need to be on the loan because we are married. No, you need to be on the deed. Because the deed says such and such owns the home, you know. So that's the main important thing. So you can definitely buy a house as a married couple and not be on the loan, but you're still on the deed. Now, I think it's a little tricky if you're not married and y'all are buying a house together. I think you can put anyone on the deed eventually at the end, but so with a married couple, no, both people do not need to be on the loan in order to be on the deed. It's a little trickier in another relationship. Yeah, we're in Texas, a community property state. I'm not giving legal advice, I'm just saying what it is. So Texas is a community property state, so if you buy a home with someone, do know y'all have definitely made bonds. And you probably have to go to divorce court to split all of that. So just FYI in the state of Texas, okay?
Consult a lawyer before.
Yes. Yes, so if you're not married and you're buying a home with somebody, Texas community property state. Just remember that. To talk to your lawyer before you do that. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't buy a house with anyone, but just know that much. Okay. All right. Any more questions? If you do have more questions, do know you can hit me up in my Instagram DMs. You can send me a message on Facebook as well, and we can go from there. So, oh, wait, one more question. How does rehabbing work in Texas? Rehabbing, do you mean, go specifically on what you mean in rehabbing. Are you talking about like investment work or just finding a home and you're going to go in and fix it up? Okay, and Alex also asked, is there a place where we can catch this replay? Yes, so Instagram is going to keep this live. You can catch it. I'm also going to save this replay, and I'm going to put it up on my YouTube channel. So if you guys are looking to have another replay, I will put a link inside of my Instagram so you can go specifically to my YouTube channel and watch this link for yourself. Okay, investment. So go back to the question was asked, how does rehabbing work in Texas, and you're looking for an investment. It just really depends on what type of investment property you're looking for. Not all investment properties are going to be the ones that you rehab and go in and redo. Investing and doing like investment properties in terms of flips or just a hold, which meaning you rent it out, that's a whole nother realm, and it's going to go with a whole different lender per se. Because if you go through a regular lender, they're going to say you need 20% down, and for some people that shuns them from even thinking about going the investment route. I would say if you're going through an investment route, the best person to get in contact with is probably a portfolio lender. And the best ways to find portfolio lenders, they're going to be the small mortgage companies, meaning local community banks that are going to do the portfolio lending. And most likely in that situation, if you know of a home that you're going to have a really great deal on, it's not going to be hard to find that lender who's going to work with you. But you have to develop that relationship with them, and so that they can know you're really serious about this, and this is not a one-time deal that you're going to do in order to be able to be successful in your real estate journey, going through investments. And if you're looking to go through investing, I would say one podcast you guys should really check out is called Bigger Pockets. Check out that podcast. They talk all day, every day about real estate investing and different things you can do. I gave a tip out to someone who was looking to do condos, and she just wanted to buy a condo or just buy a house. And I asked her, what area are you looking to do that in? And she was like, I'm thinking about Arlington. I said, She gave me the price point. I said, do a condo, put it on Airbnb. A lot of people do not think Airbnb and HomeAway as a way of investing. Everybody thinks, oh, I should get into flipping, and flipping houses and buying a whole and having to rent them out. That's an easy way to do something. My sister's best friend does Airbnb in the Arlington area, makes $30,000 a year putting her house on Airbnb.
That's awesome.
Tell me about it. Think about it. There's always a game. There's always a concert. There's always something in the area. So if you're looking to do things like that when it comes to investing, think about the area that you're in, and people are going to come in consistently, and they're going to need places to stay and visit and do things. And I know when I go out, I always look for homes or something to rent out, because I want to kind of get inside of the place that I'm going to. I don't really want to do a hotel because I feel like I'm visiting. So think about that too. Sometimes depending on where your house is or what type of house it is, people will rent that out for the weekend, and you can go stay with a friend and let somebody else use your house. And we do that all the time when we go back, like we go to New Orleans, we rent houses out. And it'd be really nice houses, and the people made a quick $1,000 probably off of us. It's a group of us usually for a weekend.
That's nice.
Don't sleep on it. You can't do that if you ain't got home ownership. Just saying.
There you go.
Next question, can you talk about military benefits? Specifically, what are you asking for when it comes to military benefits? Because right now, what I can tell you when it comes to, that's a good thing too. I always tell people that one of the best loans out there is a VA loan. They have really great interest rates, and you don't have to put anything down. So that's a really great deal when it comes to people who are in the military who are trying to buy a house, because the VA loan, you don't need anything down. Even throughout the buying process, there are certain things that military people cannot pay for. So it becomes either seller costs or lender costs. But just let me know specifically what you want to know about the military benefits. Now, I just showed 2 condos, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos off Arapahoe, close to colleges for $150. There you go. You can find condos, yes.
So those who are saying they're paying rent for $1,300,
there you go, condos out there. And yeah, I agree with Nelly. Condos are great for investments because they can rent out easily in a city. That's one thing I tell people too. A lot of people, when they think home ownership, they think just a house. Home ownership comes in the form of a condo or a townhouse as well, and there's other things too. And so when you're thinking about, which way should you go, I always tell people it really comes back to your lifestyle. If you do not have time to maintain any grass, you don't want to care about the roof, you don't want to do any of that, a condo may be a really great investment, because you can easily rent those out, because they're technically like apartments, and people are going to always need somewhere to stay. So a condo is really great for that. If you're just like, okay, I'm over and done, I want to go get a house, easily rent out your apartment. I'll get on your condo. I'll give another example. Excuse me. I have another client who bought 3 years ago, and she's thinking about getting a house. And I remember I told her I really didn't understand her vision when she thought to buy this condo in this one particular area. I was just sitting there like, I don't know about this. And she was like, I think I want to do this area. And I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of went through the area, and it's out in Fort Worth. It's by West 7th Street. So I don't know if you guys have ever been in Fort Worth. It's like really on and popping. It's really close to UNT Health Science Center. And when I realized all of that, I was like, she is onto something, because she's paying really, like her mortgage is really less than $1,000. And she can easily rent that out for probably like $1,400.
Wow.
And she still can buy her house too. So husband's going to retire in the military, getting a house. He wants to purchase this year once he returns. So yeah, he can definitely do that. So with a VA loan, he just has to show like show documentations for the VA, and there are lenders out here that can do it. I even have lenders who do really well with VA loans, especially one of my lenders actually has a program right now where they cover some of the closing costs of people that are in the military or are teachers or nurses, and it helps them save thousands of dollars. So that's really easy to be able to do with a VA loan. And the best thing about it is it's not even really, I don't think it's really credit based too much. It's really, you don't put anything down. So you do have some out-of-pocket expenses, of course, but you don't put anything down. And just knowing you're not stressing over a down payment, it's one of the great things that you can do with a VA loan. So it's 100% financing. So if that's something he's really interested into, I would say that's something you guys can definitely do. All right, you guys, it is almost 5 and I've been talking for an hour. I don't know how you guys kept me to talk that long, but I enjoyed talking to everyone. If you have any more questions, you know, just contact me, send me a DM, and I'll be more than happy to answer. And if you're looking for a replay of this video, make sure I'm going to post it up on my YouTube channel. And if you just want to have a link to it, just send me a DM and I will send you a link of this video. And make sure you tag people and let them know that they need to join this Tuesday tip. It's going to go live all month of September. So next week we're going to be talking about rebuilding your credit. I know I should have like 100 people viewing this because people always have questions about credit, and I am giving away my tips to help you. So I will see you next Tuesday. Thank you guys for joining, and send me a DM. I am Shauna. Send me a DM. I know you just had another question. Send me a DM and we'll talk about it, okay? Thank you guys. Have a great day. Oh, I'm not gonna end this.